To start with, we need to cover Hippocrates, who was a physician in ancient Greece and was important in establishing the role of a doctor to carefully analyse a patient's symptoms to give an accurate diagnosis. He created the Hippocratic Oath, which was still used today. But importantly for this topic, he created the theory of the four humours. This is the belief that within the body there are four liquids which affect our health, these being blood, phlegm, yellow bile and black bile. If there is too much or too little of any of them in the body, it was believed the person would be unwell. The four humours theory was then further developed by Galen, a famous physician in the Roman Empire. He came up with the theory of opposites, which meant that if there was an imbalance of humours, it would cause illness, and this could be solved by decreasing or increasing the amount of that liquid in the body. An example of this would be if there were too much blood, the person would need to purge it. He believed that the heart controlled the body due to experimenting on animals, although these were fraught with errors as he never used human bodies. He believed that the human body was too complex to have been created by chance, and so believed there was a creator. This is why his theories were supported by the church, as it fitted into Christian teaching. Medical knowledge in medieval England had primarily remained unchanged from ancient times. This was due heavily to the influence of the church in medieval England. Only the nobility and clergy were literate, and so the church controlled the flow of knowledge and trained the physicians. This meant that only medical knowledge supported by the church was taught, leading to a lack of progress in medicine. During the medieval period, there were several teachings to treat and prevent illnesses. These included that the astrology was used to treat illness via horoscopes, herbal medicines were used to treat illness, and these remedies would often be passed down generation by females in the family. People also believed praying and church attendance would protect them from illness, and that bloodletting was commonly used to balance humours, as well as purging via forcing sickness with laxatives. Regimen sanitanus was used as instructions to live a healthy life. This could be done via dieting and exercising regularly. Also, female family members would treat most people, whilst the rich who could afford it would hire their own physicians to treat them. The important case study from this period is the Black Death in 1348. The plague came to Europe from rats on trade ships coming from the east. It quickly wiped out almost half the population of the continent, including Britain. The plague came in two forms, bubonic and pneumonic. The bubonic plague had spread quickly due to the poor living conditions and killed half of the infected. The main symptoms were swelling of large buboes and skin turning black, along with vomiting and fever symptoms, whereas pneumonic killed everyone infected and was spread person to person. The main symptoms were a fever, coughing and headaches. People at the time believed it had been sent from God as punishment for sins, and some even believed it could have been caused by an astrological alignment of Mars, Jupiter and Saturn, which signalled catastrophe. Another more widely accepted belief that it was caused by bad air resonating from filthy towns and cities. This bad air was called miasma. Prevention methods at the time consisted of religious methods such as prayer, pilgrimage and flagellation, a practice within which people would whip themselves as punishment for their sins to please God. Groups of flagellants would travel from town to town doing this. In many cases, they would help spread the Black Death to the other communities. More practical prevention methods consisted of quarantining plague victims to stop them spreading the disease and carrying around sweet-smelling herbs to protect from miasma. Many cities would also burn sweet-smelling herbs in town to get rid of the miasma.